So just a little bit about me. I have one child of my own. I have 2 stepsons, and I've also been a surrogate 3 times. So my latest journey was actually in 2020 during COVID, so that was really interesting to give birth in a hospital room where they didn't let anybody in, and it was very controlled. My first couple was an international couple. Excuse me, sorry. My first couple was an international couple. It was a same-sex couple. They're actually from New Zealand. And then my second, I did my first 2 surrogacies through them, so they were a sibling journey. And then my latest one was an international single dad from Mexico, actually. So very familiar with working with international parents throughout this process. I started working in the surrogacy industry, in 2018, right when I was pregnant with my second surrogacy baby. I was actually only going to do 2 surrogacies for the same family, and then working in the industry, I met my 3rd intended parent, and I was very hooked. So my husband actually jokes all the time and says that I will be pregnant forever if I keep working in this industry because I keep wanting to help. So just a little bit about U.S. surrogacy in general, which I'm sure you guys are slightly familiar, and if not, there is a lot of information, so I will just briefly touch on this. Surrogacy laws in America are with gestational surrogacy, which means that the surrogate is only carrying the child. She is not biologically related. She is not also the egg donor. They're regulated by where the surrogate lives and will be giving birth. So for all international couples, we want to make sure of a couple different things: that your surrogate is in a surrogacy-friendly state, that the laws there will be friendly for you, whether you're married, unmarried, using an egg donor, using a sperm donor, or any situation like that. So as for supporting your surrogate, I get this question a lot from intended parents, whether they're domestic or international. How do I support my surrogate in this process? I am not physically there with her every day. What do I do to help her? Whether it's your first time being pregnant, whether it's your first time being an intended parent, or it's your 4th time, it is scary, it's unknown, and it's all brand new every single time. So we want to make sure that we give you ideas that are going to help you connect with your surrogate. A lot of questions that we get are, what can I do daily to help? How can I ask her questions? How can I be a support? So we will actually work with you specifically on your specific case, because not everybody likes the same amount of communication you do. Not everybody likes gifts. Not everybody likes certain things. But open communication is always our first thing. And being a surrogate, open communication is key. So I want to know that you guys are talking to me about anything. How am I doing? How are my kids doing? How is my day? And in the beginning, there's not a lot to talk to your surrogate about. I tell intended parents that all the time. There's really not much. Essentially, you guys are strangers and you're coming together for a common bond, but you don't really have much to talk about in the beginning. Once your surrogate is pregnant, you're going to find that the world will open up. You guys will talk about everything and anything. And it's nice being on the surrogate side to have intended parents ask me questions just about me and try to get to know me a little bit, and not just the pregnancy, to kind of make it feel more like it's a friendship, more like it's a connection. And if that doesn't work for you or your surrogate, that's something that we can be worked out as well. Try not to demand too much of your surrogate. I get this a lot, and I do recommend this a lot. We all have lives. Intended parents have lives, surrogates have lives, we have kids, we have family, we have commitments and work and all of that. A lot is going on at any given time. So if you're demanding your surrogate to respond quickly or to do things specifically, that can put a lot of stress on her, and so she will tend to kind of maybe not feel as connected to you at that point if she feels more like she's your employee versus your somebody who is on this journey with you. Another thing is just try to be as available as possible. She might have questions that she needs answered for her OB. She might just have general questions about, something that could affect the pregnancy. She may want to share in those big moments, with ultrasounds or things like that. All of that can be done via Zoom, FaceTime. It can be done via phone call. It does not have to be an in-person thing, especially with international parents. But just try to be open and as much a part of the journey as possible, because I know, like I said, as a former surrogate, my first set of intended parents, same-sex couple, love them dearly, but they did not actually get involved until about 18 weeks pregnant when they realized that a baby was actually coming. So it was very helpful once they were kind of involved to really feel like this was an exciting process for them as well. And then, reach out to your case manager with whatever, agency you're working with. They can help give you specific ideas for your specific surrogate and just kind of help you on that path so you don't feel lost or you don't feel like you're doing too much or too little. And it's really helpful. Here at Pitter Patter, what we do is also a support with your surrogate. You will get a case manager at the beginning of your case. She's assigned to not only you guys as the intended parents, but she's assigned to your surrogate as well. So she knows exactly what's happening. She can help step in with anything there. We have also all been former surrogates as well, so we do understand that side of it and from our perspective, what we would like to see or what we'd like to have happen. You guys and your surrogate has 24-hour access to case managers. We are horrible with business hours over here, so we will read emails and we will respond after hours, on the weekends, anything like that. But anything to make sure that your journey is supported and your surrogates are supported, because ultimately she is bringing a human life into the world, and we want to make sure that is done safely and as easily as possible. We are in contact with your surrogate almost daily from the start as well. Want to make sure we have a really good rapport with them, so that way when you guys are getting them, we can tell you exactly how to best support them, because we know them really well and we've talked to them, for a lot. We check in with your surrogate for all of her appointments, and that's another thing that you guys can do as well, just to support your surrogate, is just kind of remember the little things. I know you had an appointment today. How did that go? Then your surrogate will feel like, okay, they're a part of this pregnancy too, and then she will often mimic that and give you information before. I have an OB appointment next Tuesday. It went really well, or anything like that. So a lot of it is going to come back to communication. A lot of it is going to come back to just making sure that you are really a part of the journey with them. And then for us over here, we just send them, quarterly gifts to your surrogates, once that they're pregnant, including some boxes that will include like pregnancy items that are relevant to whatever stage they're in. And then we do hold monthly Zoom support meetings that your surrogate can attend. These are actually really helpful. As a surrogate in my first journey, I thought that I wouldn't need them, to be honest. I thought that I can, handle pregnancy. I thought that it would be something that is fairly simple. I know how to be pregnant. I've done it before, but it's really helpful to join these meetings as a surrogate, because you get the opportunity to talk to other surrogates. And that was huge, is being able to talk to somebody else who is doing the same thing and find out information for them, exactly how it's going, that they're having the same experiences I am, and it really helped me kind of feel connected to everything. Other than that, after the journey, I can tell you that about 95% of surrogates want to be connected after the journey, whether that's just photos or just sending, holiday cards. Sorry, there's a paper on the floor here. Like a holiday card or a photo of the baby as they grow up. But I can tell you about 95% of surrogates who bring, a baby into the world would like to see kind of how that baby is growing up. I'm fortunate in all of my cases that I still get, or each surrogacy journey that I've done, I still get updates, I still get pictures. My intended parents happen to be in London, so I will actually see them tomorrow, so that's great. So really looking forward to that. But yeah, otherwise, like I said, it really comes down to just being open with your surrogate from the beginning. If you have any requirements that you're wanting, if you have anything that is important to you that she upholds, surrogates are very flexible, they're very open, and they really just want to help. So if you are open with what you're expecting from the start and keep that communication going throughout the process, you won't have anybody who is going to give you any kind of pushback. You won't have anybody who has any problems with that. I've never had a surrogate tell me that she thinks that her parents are talking to her too much or anything like that. So, but yeah, that's a little bit about support there. And then just advice that I give to any intended parents is just choose the right agency where you feel supported. Not only you guys as intended parents, but your surrogate as a surrogate. You want to make sure that whatever agency you're going with, especially for US-based agencies, as there are a lot of them to choose from, you want to make sure that you feel that connection with them and you feel like they're the best possible support throughout your journey. We are here from the very beginning all the way until baby's home, and you want your agency to be the same, whether it's like I said, there's a ton to choose from. But these are a couple of our surrogates that we have here. So they're all kind of on the same path. A couple of them that are currently pregnant. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I have as far as support. So I don't know if there's any questions or anything that anybody has. Okay. So I'm not sure, so I'll put my pictures back up here so you can see. This is my first intended parent with his baby right after delivery. And seeing that moment was probably the absolute reason why I chose surrogacy, and why I would choose it several times. And then the next one was his next child, and then the last one is my final surrogate baby who turned 1 recently, and so I have cake all over my clothing because he is a 1-year-old. So, but yeah, it's I think surrogacy is a super rewarding process. I think it is definitely something that I'm glad is talked about more and is becoming a lot more common, because it's a beautiful thing and it helps not only create families but expand families, and who doesn't love children? So, but yeah, that's pretty much all I have on that subject.